Folks, welcome to Movie News Monday, where every single Monday live on twitch.tv/jupigorg we go over the news of the week in the world of film, television, entertainment, MCU, DCU, all the U's. You know what it is, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and come back every week where we're going to be covering everything that's going on. And this week, very important week, because we are coming off of New York Comic Con, where Marvel Studios and Marvel Animation had a panel breaking down everything that we have, and typically we save our Marvel news for the end of the broadcast. But today I wanted to kick it off, starting with our boy Red. Daredevil is coming back. Born Again Season 2 is coming, and Marvel TV boss Brad Winderbaum did confirm that Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is in fact connected to Spider-Man Brand New Day, the Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. Now, folks have been speculating, if not begging, for there to be a tie-in between Daredevil and Spider-Man for a multitude of reasons. One, in the comics, in other entertainment media, Spider-Man and Daredevil really do have a good bond and a good dynamic. They kind of play off of each other really well, and they're both sort of street level heroes working within their respective boroughs in New York. But we did have Daredevil, Matt Murdock's first official entry into the MCU in Spider-Man No Way Home, with Charlie Cox's cameo as Matt Murdock in that movie. And we now have confirmation, there's even been some set photos, you can go find them, that Jon Bernthal's Punisher is going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And obviously Jon Bernthal's Punisher, the last time we saw him was in Daredevil Born Again. So how does he get there? How does that happen? Hopefully Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which comes to us next summer, will give us the hint of that. But at New York Comic Con, Brad Winderbaum did confirm that they are communicating a lot with the team on Spider-Man Brand New Day to make sure that there is coherence there. We don't want to spoil anything, but it very much exists in the same world, and it is important. We're in a shared universe together, but I would say just the Daredevil comic books, the Punisher comic books, depicted a certain tone, an idea of New York in a different way than Spider-Man's, but they both exist in the same universe. Everything lines up and the impacts are felt, but we're able to tell different stories. And folks, that's really just the entire thesis of Marvel Comics. Honestly, comics in general, but Marvel is especially guilty of it, given that so much of it takes place in New York City for some reason. But, you know, the whole point is that they all exist in the same world, and things are very thematically different for them, and you tell very tonally different stories, but you're still able to use these characters and, you know, use these different chess pieces in different areas. So it absolutely makes sense that characters who are, you know, these street level characters who do exist on a similar plane in some way, shape, or form, that they should interact more often. Now, if you needed more confirmation bias that Daredevil was maybe going to make an appearance in Brand New Day, Charlie Cox was at a panel and he did come out. This was after the order of operations of this panel. They started with the animated series Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where Charlie Cox does voice that version of Daredevil. That was the first trailer they showed, and later on in this panel, they also showed the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer. And he gets asked here by the host, BD here, about, you know, oh, well, you know, is there anyone else who's able to play Daredevil? Kind of joking at the fact that he's in Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But watch Charlie's reaction here, because I think he thinks something else got revealed, and you can see a mild panic happening here, which I think is hilarious.
Also, is there like a no one else can play Daredevil rule? Not that any of us are mad about it, but that was you in the Spider-Man trailer earlier.
What?
You, Daredevil in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, that was earlier on.
Yeah, well,
I didn't get to see that either, so...
Now, that was a miraculous save by both of them. Miraculous save by Charlie Cox here. I didn't get to see that. I didn't know that happened earlier. And credit here to Brandon Davis, who maybe kind of caught, like, oop, I might have put this guy in a position that he doesn't want to be in. Let me give him an escape ladder here and be like, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the animated show. He goes, that was you in the Spider-Man trailer earlier. You see his face. What? They told me I'm not allowed to tell people I'm in the new Spider-Man movie. Like, that's what told me.
Daredevil and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That was on your...
And then the relief of like, oh, that's not what we're talking about. So, purely speculation on my part. It very well could be that Charlie was just actually confused there. But in either case, I would not be surprised to see their Daredevil connection be a lot more direct in that Daredevil is in Spider-Man Brand New Day. We also got our first official update for Vision Quest, the new Marvel television series. We have been calling it Vision Quest lovingly behind the scenes, not knowing the official title of the show. It is officially titled Vision Quest, and this is being heralded as the final chapter in the WandaVision trilogy, saying, it kicked off with WandaVision, Agatha all along kind of took it to the next step, and now the story will conclude here with Vision Quest. Of course, Paul Bettany is returning to play the Vision, or White Vision, which is where we left off with him last. The show is being run by Terry Matalas, who was the showrunner on Star Trek Picard, or what some people call the only reason it was worth it to get a CBS Plus, CBS All Access. It's Paramount Plus now. I forget what it used to be called. And we did also get some confirmations of other returning players aside from Paul Bettany. We do have James Spader returning to play Ultron, as well as James Darcy coming in to play Jarvis, who played Jarvis in the Haley Atwell-led Agent Carter TV show and had a little cameo in Avengers Endgame. We also have Jonathan Sayer, Henry Lewis, Emily Hampshire, and Orla Brady all coming to play AIs that have existed within the Marvel Universe. So Friday, Edith, Dummy, all these other ones appearing as human avatars, apparently. So this show is going to, again, conclude sort of the WandaVision trilogy, but it is also going to tackle the consequences of, artificial intelligence within the Marvel Universe and tie up some loose ends there. I am very curious to see this. And if you're wondering how it ties into Agatha All Along and WandaVision, we did get confirmation that Ruari Molika... I'm sorry. Ruari Molika will officially star as Tommy in Vision Quest, who is, of course, one of the two Maximoff twins. Ruari has not been shy about the fact that he has been cast in the show. He is currently doing a Broadway play, funny enough, with Joel Locke, who is the person playing his brother Billy, who was in Agatha All Along. They're currently doing a Broadway show, and on one of their nights back, after a Broadway show ends, you can meet the cast behind the theater after they're all wrapped up. And they came out in Agatha All Along and Vision Quest hats, respectively. But this is also a little bit of a funny coincidence. This will now be the second time that Marvel Studios' Maximoff siblings have played love interests in the past. Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Wanda and Pietro in Age of Ultron, played husband and wife in the Godzilla movie. And then Joe Locke and Ruardi Malak are, like I mentioned, currently doing a Broadway show in which they play love interests. So very funny coincidence there that just happened to be the way that all worked out. Another bit of news that we got from that Marvel Studios panel: Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is returning for season 2 in fall of 2026, and they do have the full intention to have this be an annual release. So we'll get one season a year and continue to see some more Spider-Man, animated Spider-Man hijinks. If you are missing seeing some good new Spider-Man content, I would highly recommend this series. It does skew a little bit towards a younger audience, but it is a really fun and refreshing way of looking at sort of the origin story of Spider-Man. I think it's a really good show. I would highly recommend it. And last but not least, we did finally get a release date for X-Men 97. Season 2 will be premiering next summer. The original showrunners from the original X-Men animated series back in the 90s have signed on as executive producers for season 2 as well as for season 3, which they have already been given the green light for and are already working on. So hopefully we do not have to wait nearly as long for season 3 after season 2 concludes. There was a trailer that did screen at New York Comic Con. If you're good at using the internet, you will likely be able to see this trailer. I'm very excited. This show was such a pleasant surprise. I really did not expect to love this show as much as I did. I did grow up seeing the X-Men animated series. I was more into the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s. No surprise. But as I watched like a recap video in preparation for X-Men 97, I realized I hadn't watched nearly as much of the show as I thought I had. But in either case, jumping into it vaguely blind, like if you have a loose understanding of who the X-Men characters are and what their dynamics are supposed to be, you know, Scott and Jean are in love, Logan loves Jean, you know, things like that. Jubilee's the new one. It is an incredible show. I would liken it almost to, and I'm not, you know, the most well-versed in this field, but I would liken it to an anime as far as like storytelling and depth and quality of animation. Some really cool stuff that goes on in this show. Specifically, Magneto's speech at the UN. So good. Oh my god, so incredible. This show is really great. Now, it is worth it to say when you're talking about X-Men 97, because especially if you're someone who goes on Twitter at all, you will likely see the original showrunner, Beau DeMayo, was let go from the show, and there has been a lot of official and unofficial speculation and statements made about his firing and some inappropriate behavior that maybe went on behind the scenes. He has sort of become a dissenting voice towards Marvel online, similar to the guy who created Deadpool. His name escapes me in this moment. He's also a big Marvel Studios hater online. They had to, and I feel bad that they had to make a statement about this, but they did have to acknowledge his firing in the season 2 announcement. And Brad Winderbaum, the head of Marvel TV, did say, hey, you know, we still have most of the same writer's room. We still have the rest of the executive producers. We have the original X-Men animated series showrunners involved with the show. It's the same animators. It's the same actors. Like, there's so much more creative team than just this one person. And if you have any hesitations about that one person not being involved, Marvel Studios feels very confident about it going forward. That being said, I would say just be wary of negativity that you see online, especially from someone who, very validly so, you know, if you get fired from a job, you have every right to be a bitter person about what happens next. But just know you may see some noise about that online, and I think that it's not worth it to discredit the work that the rest of the creative team puts into a show like this. And at the end of the day, if it's a good quality show, like, you know, take your pride in the good work that you did, acknowledge the bad stuff that you might have done, and move on. You know? I'm just saying, you don't get fired for nothing. But that's it for our Marvel news. So we had some great updates from New York Comic Con. Love to see it. Marvel, I think, is in a little bit of a lull right now, and so a lot of folks, myself included, even as someone who's a big fan of Marvel, I do need a confidence boost. And funny enough, like their animated materials and their TV material is what's giving me that confidence boost right now. So we have quite a long time until we have more superhero content. With Wonder Man being pushed to January, we have no more superhero content for the rest of the year. There's no more DC, there's no more Marvel, so let's all take some time to get excited for the stuff we want to see. Maybe go back and revisit some stuff that we missed out on, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of other good stuff on the horizon, so we can just be excited about that. But that's going to wrap it up with Marvel news. Let's jump into the world of Walt Disney Studios. You might have seen this headline: Disney bets big on Impossible Creatures. This is a series, I will be fully honest, I had heard nothing about, but Impossible Creatures is being heralded as the next Harry Potter. It's likened to be as big as Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, The Twilight Saga. This is a young adult book series that is planned out right now to be 5 books total, and I believe 2 of the 5 planned books have been published for the Impossible Creatures, and it seems there was a massive bidding war for these the film rights for Impossible Creatures, and Walt Disney came out on top, and Walt Disney is ready to make this an investment. Some folks have been speculating that Walt Disney is really looking for their version of the Harry Potter franchise, something that they can have consistently working theatrically, but also has room to expand into other areas of the business, particularly into their parks. Some folks speculated that as part of the 20th Century acquisition, it was expected that maybe the X-Men were being set up to be sort of a Harry Potter equivalent as far as the Disney brand. You know, the mutant story of you become a teenager and suddenly your powers come out and you get whisked away to this magical school of Xavier's School for the Mutants, and you get to become a superhero, right? Like, there's some folks that speculated that maybe that was the vision that Disney had for X-Men and Marvel. And, you know, is it the right vision to have? I don't fully know, because the X-Men is really meant to be more of an allegory on disenfranchised youths and, you know, people of lesser societal standing due to biases, and it's an allegory for racism and homophobia and all these other things. So kind of weird if that's the bet that they were trying to make. But regardless, the largest arm of Walt Disney Studios is their theme parks. And so it makes sense that they would be investing into a franchise that has the potential to expand into those theme parks. And this was quite the expensive. Rundell, the author, Catherine Rundell, signed 2 7-figure publishing deals for this book, and that was just for the publishing rights. I can't imagine what the theatrical rights looked like, but what she originally planned as a trilogy has become a 5-novel saga, and there's going to be spin-offs and prequel books and so much more. Catherine Rundell is also going to be involved in the production of the shows, of these movies. She's going to be working as a screenwriter on the first adaptation of Impossible Creatures. Disney was in the final battle there with Warner Brothers and Netflix, and everybody head to London and tried to put out their vision. It looks like Disney really brought everybody they could from Disney Live Action to try and make this deal go through, including Bob Iger himself, the CEO, who had a lot of enthusiasm having read the books. Noted here, you don't see Disney going in like this on many properties, but this comes in an effort to move the live action menu beyond transfers of animated films, even though Lilo and Stitch so far has been the only Hollywood film to gross north of $1 billion. I think this, to me, is the part that's most interesting about this entire exchange. Disney understands that they are stuck in a rut where Marvel is not performing as well as it could. They don't really have any other like surefire franchise. Star Wars hasn't been in cinema for a while. They had an Indiana Jones movie that kind of bombed at the box office. They've had a couple stinkers come out. Not to say there's no fans of them out there, but Tron Ares just came out this weekend to basically no money. So Disney's really hurting for some sort of success in their live action division outside of the animated remakes, which they are well aware are fatiguing on fans. Even though Lilo and Stitch grossed $1 billion, like that honestly was probably more luck on the strength of Stitch as an IP as opposed to the strength of these live action remakes. So Disney's probably looking for something to guarantee them some success into the future. And like I said, hopefully expand into other areas of the business. Bob Iger put out a statement: "When I read Impossible Creatures, I knew it belonged at Disney. I was immediately drawn into the vibrant world imagined and the possibilities of what we could do together with this story." So if that doesn't say, hey, this could feed into all arms of the business, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they're saying. Impossible Creatures and her vision is a perfect match for Disney's storytelling tradition. See what I mean? Thrilled to collaborate with Catherine and Charles to bring this saga to audiences worldwide. So what is Impossible Creatures about? If you are like me and you've never heard about it, the brief summary is a series takes place in a world of Gilmoria Archipelago. Christopher is a human boy who stumbles into the hidden entrance to the magical world while spending the holiday with his grandfather in the Scottish Highlands. He soon meets Mal, a girl from this hidden world of magical creatures, and together they attempt to save the creatures that are suffering from a decline in the magical forest that keeps them alive and vibrant. So a little bit of Narnia vibes, a little bit of Harry Potter vibes, but or Percy Jackson vibes. In either case, I mean, it sounds like the strength of this IP is there and Disney sees a lot of potential. Will this be the next Harry Potter? Will this be the next big hit? I think Walt Disney is really hoping for it, and I'm very curious to see. Have you read Impossible Creatures? Do you think that it's guaranteed to go big at the box office? Is there another book series or story that maybe should be considered? I'm very curious to know. I think that we're definitely at a time where we need something else that's like our consistent theatrical thing to look forward to. Like, really, besides Marvel and DC, like, what other franchises do we have right now? There's no more Fast and the Furious. There's no more Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, right? Like, there's no more anything like that. It's really just original movies that you get sometimes, and then like Marvel movies. Like, that's really it. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it could be fun. I'm here for a little bit of diversity. Rian Johnson wants to make more Knives Out films, even though the Netflix deal is ending. Now, folks, I'm extremely biased on here, but I will say that having the Knives Out series be locked into a Netflix deal is excruciating. I was very fortunate enough to see I did see Knives Out originally when it came out in theaters and had a great time. I saw Glass Onion in theaters and had a fantastic time. It was screening at a festival. That movie does not deserve to be, or that series does not deserve to be a Netflix original. That deserves to be out in the box office, and maybe we'll have a chance now. Netflix had only signed a 2-picture deal with Rian Johnson for the Knives Out franchise, and after the release of Wake Up Dead Man, he has officially concluded his his contract with Netflix. Back in 2021, Netflix paid a reported $450 million for the rights to 2 sequels for the Knives Out movie. Now let's be clear, that is just what they paid for in the rights for the movies. That is not what it costs to make those movies. So Netflix was there to pay a pretty penny to make it happen. And I mean, it makes sense. Those movies are absolutely massive, and they are fantastic films. And, you know, Netflix is clearly proud of them. They debut them at film festivals all over the world and really champion all those movies for awards contending for original, you know, or original screenwriting or adapted screenwriting or things of that nature. In either case, Rian Johnson spoke at the London Film Festival. I don't feel burnt out doing these at all. If anything, I feel energized. So as long as audiences want to keep seeing it and Daniel and I are still having fun and still feels like we can come up with stuff that feels not just fresh, but a fresh challenge that'll translate to a new audience. For now, I'd be thrilled to keep making these for the rest of my life. So Rian Johnson, man, as long as exactly what you said, as long as you and Daniel Craig are down, I am down to keep watching. I love a whodunit. I love the idea of bringing all these big Hollywood voices together in a fun, you know, 90, 100-minute romp of, oh, what's going to happen with some mysteries and some fun twists and surprises. I'm really looking forward to Wake Up Dead Man, and I would love to see Rian Johnson do more of these movies. That being said, and here is my hot take, and here is where folks might get mad at me. Rian Johnson was announced ages ago, prior to some very massive reshufflings that went down. Rian Johnson was announced to be working on his own trilogy in the Star Wars world. We have heard nothing about that for years, and I am, okay, take it easy on me, y'all. I am a fan of The Last Jedi. I really loved what Rian Johnson did in the world of Star Wars, and I think that people have a lot of strong feelings about it, and I think the strong feelings are valid because he took a pretty big swing. For me, that swing was at least a double, maybe a triple. I don't know that I'd call it a home run, but it was a really good swing that I really enjoyed, and I would be very curious to see him play in that world again. That being said, if it's Star Wars or Knives Out, I think I'd rather see him do more Knives Out. I'm curious to know if you would prefer one over the other. And if you didn't like The Last Jedi, keep it to yourself. I was going to say tell me why, but actually don't. Keep it to yourself. If you loved The Last Jedi like me, hey, cheers. Speaking of streamers doing weird things that make no sense, Apple TV Plus just kind of quietly dropped the plus. With the announcement of F1 coming to the streamer, Apple TV Plus was just quietly rebranded to Apple TV. It is now simply Apple TV with a vibrant new identity. This is so funny and this is so confusing because Apple TV is a product. It is a technology. It's another thing altogether. And so now when you say, oh, do you have Apple TV? It's like, do you mean the box or do you mean the subscription? And I guess the box comes with the subscription, but it's not guaranteed. And the box also does more than just the subscription. And the subscription also has add-ons to the subscription where it's not just Apple TV originals, but you can also buy other channels and add that to Apple TV. And so is it the Max or the HBO Go or the HBO Now or the Apple TV Now Plus? Where's Hulu and where is Disney Star? But not Stars, that's different. Stars is different than Showtime. Showtime, which is on Paramount, Paramount Plus, Paramount Plus Showtime, with Showtime Paramount Plus. CBS is on Showtime Paramount Plus. It was CBS Plus, CBS All Access, now Showtime Plus. Netflix, the Pirate Bay. It's all too much. It's all too much. It's all too much. Maybe we just go back to cable, guys. What do you think? Maybe we just go back to cable? Let's just go back to Blu-rays, man. Everything. I want, when they say new season drops on this day, it's because the Blu-ray comes out. No more streaming. Let's just go back to physical media. I got a box of over 100 DVDs in my attic that have just been collected. Bring Blockbuster back. Yes, I'm with you. That's the solution. Just cancel every single streaming service. It is Blockbuster now. Not Blockbuster now. Blockbuster Plus. Blockbuster back. Blockbuster rewind. Please be kind. Rewind. On to the next story. Channing Tatum has a new movie, Roof Man, which just released. If you heard nothing about it, don't feel bad. I haven't either, and I am literally plugged in all the time. But Channing Tatum had some words to say about his unreleased Gambit movie, as well as the current state of 23 Jump Street. Speaking of Gambit, Channing Tatum said, "Look, if we had made our Fox version, that script would have never gotten made. It was an R-rated romantic comedy. And when I say R-rated, I mean we went for it. We made Gambit the kind of character who could only exist in a movie with Deadpool. We had mutants having sex. It was wild, full on. That's something Marvel and Disney would never do. You don't always know what Disney will be, but you definitely know what it's not going to be. It's not going to be horror. It's not going to be sex." You know what, Channing Tatum? Props. That's actually pretty self-aware. I'll give you some credit for that. I do appreciate the second half of his sentiment here, that he says, "I think Marvel needs that kind of tonal diversity, something to balance the other side, and Gambit's a great opportunity for that." So, you know, he's not wrong. Like, if we just keep making the same type of movie over and over again, people are not going to be excited to keep watching. Is there a world where I would have loved to see this Gambit movie? Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I'm not upset at where we are now, and I do think that had the Gambit movie come out when they were trying to develop it, if you don't know, that movie was stuck in development hell for nearly a decade, and it got to the point where they had brought Channing Tatum out at Comic-Con and announced that his movie would be coming out, but even at that point, they hadn't settled on a script. They had directors coming in and out like a revolving door. It was just a mess. And so him coming back to play Gambit, both in Deadpool and Wolverine, and now in Avengers Doomsday, is just the universe saying, "Hey man, thanks for your patience." But aside from talking Gambit, Channing Tatum did also speak about the Jump Street series. 21 Jump Street, if you haven't seen, is an incredible comedy from Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are the incredible voices behind things like the Lego movie, things like the Spider-Verse movies, Sunny with a Chance of Meatballs, so many other things. The original interpretation of Star Wars Solo, which we'll never see because they got fired from that movie. 21 Jump Street is great. 22 Jump Street, a surprisingly successful and equally great sequel. If you've heard My Name Jeff, then you understand the legacy that franchise has. In either sense, there was plans for a 23 Jump Street, and in fact, there was even at some point plans for a 21 Jump Street and Men in Black crossover, which was in the works. That was revealed when the Sony leaks took place ages ago. But speaking on the Jump Street sequel, he said, "Sincerely, the best script I've ever read for me and Jonah Hill. I don't think it'll ever happen. The problem is the overhead. It would cost as much as the actual budget of the film, if not more, because of all the producers involved. It's just too top heavy. It falls over every time." Now, here's an important lesson in film production and film budgeting and financing. The overhead is essentially the money that the above the line people are making along with the film. So these are the producers, typically the producers, the executive producers, the people who do a lot of the above the line work. Basically, they're the most, in some cases, the most involved with the film actually being created. They do get overhead. They do get takes of the film. They get a little bit of kickback from the movie itself. And sometimes that even happens in the form of getting an upfront paycheck along the production of the movie. So in this case, Tatum reveals that this movie just had too many producers, or this franchise had too many producers involved, which meant that the cost was just going to be way too heavy. According to Tatum, this was the interesting part. Hill, and directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller have agreed to smaller producers' fees. The sticking point is producer Neil H. Moritz. Neil's price for a producer fee is huge, and to be honest, that's what's killing it. Now, Neil H. Moritz was the producer who worked on the original Jump Street movies. He is also the producer behind the Fast and the Furious franchise. And, you know, if you were here last week and heard about the state of the Fast and Furious franchise, you maybe understand why Moritz maybe wants some guarantees that he's going to make his money, because some of the franchises that he's stuck his name onto are not moving right now. So it's a damn shame, and it's actually crazy to see Channing Tatum basically call out this producer by name and saying he's the reason this movie is not getting made. I don't know what his goal is here, to have him, you know, remove himself from the project to actually get this movie made. I know that Lord and Miller have been doing really well in the world of animation. And I know that Jonah Hill has been kind of diving into the indie scene and working as a director as well as an actor in different types of movies. So I don't know if they're actually trying to get this movie made, but calling out this guy by name, you know, that's got to mean something. Yeah, lower your fee. Like, what are you doing? In either case, I would love to see another Jump Street movie. I think that franchise is incredible, and it would be so right to the franchise to have the third movie be like a legacy sequel that takes place, you know, over a decade since the original film released. You might have heard over the last few weeks that Warner Brothers Discovery may be up for sale. Warner Brothers, over 100 years as a Hollywood staple, has had a lot of really bad luck with mergers and acquisitions. The most recent being by Discovery, who recently announced that they will be essentially unmerging from Warner Brothers. With that being said, other studios are interested. We've talked about that Paramount-Skydance was interested, that Netflix is maybe looking at the possibility of acquiring. But Warner Brothers has officially rejected Paramount-Skydance's offer. They offered around $20 per share, which was too low per their standards. Warner Brothers Discovery closed at about $17 a share last week. So Warner Brothers is in a very tricky situation, right? They are an incredible legacy studios, over 100 years as one of the staples of Hollywood. Like, you know, Warner Brothers, very successful IPs under their belt, very successful original movies. They are the winners of the global box office this year. Like, I know we still have a few more months left to go, but it is not close. Warner Brothers won as far as the producer and distributor of films this year. But all that being said, just the structure of that company and the history of that company, they are not set up to be profitable yet. And even a brand like Discovery just couldn't find a way to make it work. You've seen this in many different ways with CEO David Zaslav canceling movies, canceling releases, writing off things for tax credits, merging Discovery Plus and HBO Max into Max, and now back into HBO Max, Apple Plus TV. In either case, I've said this before, I do think that with this unmerging coming up of Discovery and Warner Brothers, I would love to see Warner Brothers just scale back and have confidence in themselves as an independent studio and just get back to the things that work. And I hope that they continue to reject offers. So did Netflix actually make an offer? We don't know for sure, but we do now know for real that Paramount did take a shot and it did not land. Now, speaking of Warner Brothers and their success, Warner Brothers did announce the release date for the Minecraft sequel. No one is surprised. This movie crushed at the box office, over $1 billion made, even had a post-credits tag teasing a sequel coming up. And it is happening. So July 23rd, 2027 is the date that we will be getting the Minecraft sequel. I believe Jack Black will be returning, but aside from that, we don't really have a lot of confirmations as to what the story is or what we can expect to see. Although longtime Movie News Monday viewers will probably recognize that date. July 23rd is the date that used to be held for a Marvel Studios film, but was recently instead given away to the Simpsons sequel. So we will now have a Simpsons movie and Minecraft 2 premiering on the same day. At least as of now, it is very possible that one of them chooses to move, although they're not necessarily for the same audiences. That being said, man, this movie, I'm just so nervous. I am so nervous. The level of tongue-in-cheek self-awareness that the original Minecraft movie had was like just at the line of maybe being too far, of maybe losing the plot a little bit. So I really wonder, over under that he says chicken jockey twice in this movie. It's gonna happen. But what do you think? Are you excited for Minecraft 2, Minecraft a movie 2, a movie Minecraft sequel, second one? I watched the first one in theaters. It was an experience. Maybe I'll watch the second one. Happy for Jack Black. You know, I did say in my review for Minecraft, a Minecraft movie, I did say it felt like Jack Black got to go full Jack Black, and I probably hadn't seen him like that since Tenacious D. So I'm happy for him to continue to have more work. And you know, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just hope it doesn't go too crazy. I would not be surprised to see them aim for a trilogy, a Minecraft trilogy, where they go fight the Ender Dragon. Well, folks, it's been a while since we've had a crazy announcement here in Movie News Monday, but following Mattel's success with the Barbie film, they very clearly took the wrong lesson, and they greenlit a movie on Polly Pocket, they greenlit a movie on My Little Pony, and now we have word that M. Night Shyamalan will be co-creating and directing a live-action Magic 8-Ball TV show. You know, we got John M. Chu from Wicked to do Hot Wheels. Why not get M. Night Shyamalan from The Sixth Sense to do the Magic 8-Ball? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? We are learning the wrong lessons. Don't count on it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we do need to start reading books again. Maybe Disney's got the right idea. We need to buy some book franchises. Who wants to see this? Who wants to see it? Folks, I am here officially announcing I will be directing the Glasses Cleaner movie. I have the rights to James Earl Jones' AI voice clone. He will be voicing Eyeglasses Cleaner. We have Charlie D'Amelio as our lead. $700 million budget, coming out in 6 months. we will be using AI for all of it. It's like, what are we doing, guys? I just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Now, if you can find a cool way to tell the story, sure, but there are so many incredibly talented storytellers who are just dying and frothing at the mouth with completed scripts, with completed stories, with crews that they could hire at an instant, with people on their phone that they could call and say, will you make this movie with me for half of your normal rate? And they will say yes. There are filmmakers out there who are dying at the opportunity to make a $1 million movie, a $2 million movie, a $500,000 movie. And instead we get this. What are we doing? Who's gonna watch this? And a TV show too, so it can just take up space on a streaming library? Well, let me tell you, folks, sitting on a streaming library is not the best thing that can happen to you. Netflix, great segue into our next story. Netflix here, Netflix is testing out a new feature on web, and it is confirmed to be an official thing that Netflix is doing. They are removing the Netflix original branding from their TV shows. So they are trying to have their shows blend in with everything else. So you'll notice here, you cannot tell what is a Netflix original. Now I can. I know Stranger Things is. I know The Witcher is. I know Black Mirror. Oh shoot, this is harder than I thought. Especially when you get to romantic series. Bridgerton for sure. Genie Make a Wish? Oh no, wait, this is hard. Yeah. So Netflix confirmed we're updating the member experience across devices to make discovery of all content simpler and more consistent. Essentially admitting that Netflix knows that they're putting out slop. Netflix knows that they're just putting out slop, and they know that the Netflix original stamp is basically a sign of shame, and so they are removing it from their shows so that you accidentally stumble into it. Yeah, making it simpler. No, it truly is just so they can inflate their numbers. There was another report that recently came out that I was going to cover, but I didn't have full time to read the entire thing, and I didn't want to give y'all sloppy coverage where I just read the article to you. But a new report came out basically confirming that the thing that is making streamers the most money is the historical backlog. It's not the new material, it's having the old material that people are nostalgic for or people are rediscovering, right? There's a reason why Moana has been like the most consistently watched movie on Disney Plus. There's a reason why Paramount Plus just had a massive surge right before Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. It's because they're the only streaming service that has all the other Mission Impossibles, right? So Netflix, if they can find a way to blend in their original content with the other historical stuff on their library, gives them the opportunity to kind of non-artificially inflate their numbers. So be on the lookout for Magic 8 Ball. Maybe a Netflix original? We'll never tell. Let's give Netflix their flowers a little bit. I know we like to hate on Netflix on this broadcast, and it is mostly because Emilia Perez. But Guillermo del Toro and Ted Sarandos announced a stop-motion studio that they're building together with Netflix's investment, with Ted Sarandos and Guillermo del Toro driving. There is now a new stop-motion studio that is being built. It's being built as part of a university in France, specifically the Goblin School. It's more than a training center. The stop-motion studio is co-founded by Del Toro and Netflix and is being conceived as a living laboratory of experimentation and research. I absolutely love this. I think that stop motion animation is one of the most beautiful and incredible forms of media. I'm even a little bit biased because what got me into filmmaking was stop motion animation with my Legos. But all that to say, I think that they actually found a really beautiful way to kind of talk about it here. What I really love about stop motion in an educational setting is that I learned from Del Toro, stop motion is filmmaking. It's costume design, set design, lighting, camera. It's everything. Every discipline that you do to make a film, you're doing in stop motion animation. The human touch of it is something that people see through. Del Toro did have an incredible statement here to say regarding his conversation with Sorrento's. I said to him, "You're a billionaire. If you stick with me, I'll make you a millionaire." I believe it is imperative to look at things that need to be preserved, even if in the short term you don't see clearly why, except for that for some people they are very important. When he supported Pinocchio after nearly 20 years of chasing it, that was important. So this is just fascinating. The article and the announcement does also go to basically say that Del Toro also sees this as a very good way to kind of fight against the looming threat of AI, and saying that, you know, having this very tangible, physical type of animation through stop motion is just something that AI will never be able to do and will never be able to surpass the human imagination in that regard. I think this is incredible. Del Toro said it best that when he was explaining it to Ted Sarandos, that it is filmmaking. It is every discipline of filmmaking, and animation is a medium that I don't think gets the respect that it often deserves, but stop motion, I think, always makes people kind of stop in their tracks and go, "Oh, this is really something. This is really something." So I'm very excited to see this. I love that this announcement was not just we're opening a new studio as part of Netflix. It's that they were making this a part of a university and having it be an educational experience, so that hopefully it's contributing to the future generation of filmmaking. A couple weeks back, we talked about the Peacemaker dance sequence and what it had to do. Fortnite has officially updated the dance sequence, so if you don't like it, you can get your refund, but in either case, there it is. And look, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to do my 5-second review on Peacemaker Season 2. I understand why folks didn't love it. It wasn't as good as Season 1. I still enjoyed it. I'm not going to do spoilers. No, I'm not going to do spoilers. I do think it's worth a watch. Okay, let me clarify. I think it's worth a watch if you like the characters from Peacemaker. If you're expecting a big story or a big finish specifically, a lot of folks had things to say about the finale. Just remember that the show is not about big cameo fests. The show is not about big explosive action sequences. The show is about real human characters. And if you watch it with that lens, you will enjoy it more. But even through that lens, for me, wasn't the best. In either case, I still enjoyed it. I'm still glad I watched it. But I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody. And that's what I'll say. And we'll talk spoilers after a little while. We'll give more people a chance. Another big W for DC. Jim Lee, who is the head of the comics division of DC, says that they will not support AI-generated materials in their storytelling. What we do and why we do it is grounded in humanity. No algorithm can replicate it. True effort, inspiration, and perspiration. So, props to Jim Lee, props to DC Comics. Look, especially in the world of comics have tight turnarounds. Comics have a lot of pressure to get stuff out there. DC, though, famously is not afraid to delay a comic if they feel it's not where it needs to be. So very good that they're making the stance that, hey, our work will not be using any generative materials in any case, not to influence a story, not to write the text, and not to create the art. I think this is a great stance to take. If you're curious in AI comic books, if you actually care for that, one, hey, I'm sorry that you're not willing to dive into 75 years worth of incredible DC stories or Marvel stories or Image or any of these other incredible independent companies. There are hundreds and hundreds of comic books that come out each week from some of these massive studios all the way down to like small independent people. But if you're out there reading AI comics, in a couple weeks, we are going to be at the SCAD Savannah Film Festival. We are going to be attending over 25 different screenings and panels with some of the biggest voices in Hollywood right now who are more than likely going to be taking up the awards conversation. We are going to be watching some incredible movies and talking about Oscars season, Golden Globe season, and also just shouting out the incredible world of filmmaking. So make sure you are subscribed, make sure you are following so that you can see our material of the SCAD Savannah Film Festival. Will we stream there? Maybe. But don't count on it. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for Movie News Monday. If you ever want to stop by live and actually influence the conversation and be a part in the chat, make sure to stop by every Monday on twitch.tv/JupyGorg. If you can't watch live, don't worry about it. Just subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you want me to cover on next week's Movie News Monday. If you ever want to check out our content in short form or want to know when we're going live, make sure you're following over on Instagram and TikTok. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you at the movies.